What is up, MMA fans? This is Tudo Leonte for Sherdog.com, and today I have the pleasure to talk with UFC lightweight fighter, Mr. Steve Garcia. Hello, Steve. How are you today?
I'm doing good, man. I'm happy to be on the show. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for giving us a little bit of your time. I just introduced you, but actually we are three today. Who is that little man? You're keeping there.
My son, yeah, this is Tarek Legend right here. It's my little guy. He just turned 2. He's a Cinco de Mayo baby, so he's joining me today, if that's all right.
Of course. He's more than welcomed.
Awesome.
I was curious, before we start talking about other things, about your nickname, the Mean Machine. Where does it come from?
So, I mean, it was originally just a machine, just because I can go all day. Really, when it comes down to it, I can push a pace. I could work out all day. I could train all day. That's kind of what it originally was. And then I used to train at a gym called Mean One, and it was Key Jardine School and stuff like that. And we just kind of just looked at it for a minute there, and everybody would tell me like, "Damn, like Steve, you're so mean out there, bro." Like they would just, and we just ended up putting it together. So I was like, okay, cool. So we ran with it, and then it's funny because the longest yard, they put that in there too. They're like, "Oh, did you get from longest?" I was like, "Not really," but it's kind of cool because now it kind of sticks. It'll stick in your head. So that's kind of how that happened, man.
Yeah, it sounds good. Someone who actually experienced it, how much how much of a mean machine can you be, is Charlie Ontiveros. You actually defeated your latest opponent via second round stoppage. Do you feel like that you had something to prove on that occasion?
At the end of the day, it's about feeding my family. So, like, if you want to say, I got a lot to prove. Really, I got to show, the bosses why they need to keep me. I got to show the fans why they need to keep watching me. So yeah, kind of. There's a little bit of a chip on my shoulder, but I wasn't losing that night. I don't care if he rocked me, several times. I'm gonna find a way to win. So that's what I did.
Those punches and elbows from the mount position looked very, very nasty.
Yeah.
Of course, you imagined that you would defeat your opponent, but were you expecting to finish him inside the distance?
I always, if I go into a fight ever expecting it to go the distance, it's probably, we're probably not in a good fight anyways. Like for me, I've always been able to focus on finishing a fight. Like I don't really want to fight and not ever plan to finish. Like it's very, very counterintuitive, right? In my head, I almost kind of wish we could do just one round, 15 minutes, and I promise you'll see a lot more finishes if that's kind of how we went about it. And honestly, if it was up to me, I prefer that. But we got rounds, and every round you got to take each round seriously in its own different type of way. You could be down, you could be up. It just doesn't matter. Just go back to your corner if you're still in there, and plan for the next rounds. So I don't know. I always expect finishes, always.
But what happened in your UFC debut? You lost to Luis Pena that night. What did go wrong?
Well, I mean, honestly, it just when you get called on a 4 or 5 day notice to go fight Luis Pena, I mean, they called me at my desk. You know what I mean? So I was sitting on my desk at work, and I was like, yes, let's do it. I'm about it. So that's what we ended up doing. And fighting Luis Pena, I went out. Everybody told me I was gonna get knocked out. Everybody told me that he was just gonna just school me, and I was not about it. Like I made sure I was gonna go out there and just go for broke. Like I know I had the cardio to do it, but I think if I had at least 2 weeks to plan, I had 2 weeks to plan.
No worries.
Yeah.
He can say whatever he wants.
We had about 2 weeks to plan. I think I would have gone out there with a win. But you hit a couple pads, you take a flight down there, you make sure that USADA qualifies you. Hey bro, you missed on my interview, dog. but but I think that a little more game planning, and then my other coach Greg, the flight situation had messed up, so Wink was the only one that could show up. So just things didn't really go as smoothly, and I just wanted to make it a hell of a fight. Like that's what I really wanted. I was like, let's just go for broke. Try to knock him out. I feel like I touched him up a little bit on the feet. He ended up taking my bag majority of the fight. I caught him in a triangle in the third. I thought I finished him in the third, and he found a way to get out, and I got the other end of a decision. So it's kind of how it happened. So I just wanted to make a statement that I'm here to fight. Then when I fought Ontiveros was just my staple. Like I belong here. Like this is my spot.
For sure. You proved that already. You told me that you were sitting at your desk when you received the UFC call. Did you mean that you were working a full-time job, or what do you mean by that?
Yeah, I worked a full-time job. I was a assistant accountant to an insurance company.
Okay.
It's called Streamline Insurance. So I did a lot of accounting stuff for them, and I got that call sitting there. So I was like, cool, let's go.
Are you still working for them, or are you focusing on your MMA career right now?
Just focusing on my MMA career. I knew once I made it to the UFC, I was gonna just commit to it. But it's really hard. Financially, you're not really able to do that until like you get to the UFC, and then even in the UFC, it's hard. You got to fight on a regular basis just to sustain. So we're working on it.
No, you're right. I'm always asking the fighters. Unfortunately, you're not the first one who tells me, something like that, and you won't be the last one. It is what it is. Hopefully, the nature of the sport perhaps will change and will provide more support for fighters, even on the regional scene, because it's a very demanding sport.
Yeah. Well, you're learning 3 different martial arts, and trying to make it fit into its own martial arts. So you should have a form of striking, whether it's Taekwondo, Muay Thai, boxing, and then you should have your jiu-jitsu or your grappling, and then you need to have wrestling. If you don't have wrestling in the sport, you're kind of behind the curve. You know what I mean? So you got to know how to mesh all 3 of those things. When other sports, you're just learning one thing. You know what I mean? So I do feel like the compensation should be a little bit more due to how much more effort it takes to get to where we're at. But I understand we're in a sport that's still fairly new and people are still learning it. So, it has its ups and downs, and I'm just trying to get to the point where we are making real good money, and that's not an issue.
Yeah, hopefully it will happen one day. Right now, you're scheduled to face Maheshate Hayisaer at UFC 275 in Singapore. Is this the first time you are competing outside the United States?
Yeah, I've never fought outside the country, so this is the first for me.
What do you expect from your journey to Singapore?
I don't really know what to expect, but I have buddies and friends. Like I talked to Holly and I talked to Coach Gibson and stuff on their I guess experiences for Singapore. They kind of taught me like what to do when it comes to dealing with the jet lag, and obviously the place is beautiful. So just to take it all in, enjoy that. So yeah, I really don't know what to expect. I just know I got to get a job done, and that I do know what I expect to do, and I know how to do that well. So as far as expecting anything, that's the only thing I know.
You told me already that you are still training at Jackson-Wink MMA. May I ask a few of the names you have been preparing your fight with?
Well, we all kind of help each other out. We got good teammates. I got training partners that you know of, and there's probably some that you don't. But obviously, it was Holly's always been a good training partner. We have Aaron Pico in the house, so like he always he'll teach a class, or you ask him. We get some work in sometimes. My buddy Edwin Cooper, you should be hearing him pretty soon. Dan Agueta, he'll be in. He's actually fighting this weekend, I think, in the UFC. I'm trying to think of some other ones. My buddy Josh Streaker. He just fought. So like we you know, I have a couple of good guys that we were all in a camp together. We're all simulating each other's opponents, and you know, we were able to be fairly successful. So yeah, I mean, there's some really good talent that's going to come up, and you guys are about to hear about them here pretty soon.
Did the fact that Damir Hadzovic, your first opponent, did the fact that he pulled out of the fight throw you off a little bit? You know, were you forced to change your strategy for this fight?
I was just more upset because it prolongs my return. So when I was planning to fight him, I think we were we were like 6 weeks into the camp. Okay, you're just gonna take my hand. Okay. We were 6 weeks into the camp, and then we got the call, which was like 4 weeks. I like to give myself at least 8 to 10 week camps. So we were kind of put on standby, and I was told to be ready anyways. So then they gave me a call for June, and so like I just, long story short, it's been a long camp. It's been a long camp. I'm ready to get in there, and let's just go. I'm not going to Singapore empty-handed, or coming back from Singapore empty-handed. I'm gonna make sure I bring back, some money or something. Something's happening. He's gonna pay for it. And Damir's next. Damir's next. I want that back because you know what? I lost a lot of sleep and stuff. So once I beat this guy, I want him. He's next. If he can't come to me, I'll go to him. I don't care.
Oh, that's very, very interesting. Well, I was quite curious, about your matchup with Hadzovic. Perhaps it will happen somewhere down the line. And the fact that you're very vocal about it, it helps, making it happen.
Yeah. No, I want that. That's what I want my next fight to be. So, I'm not taking, Maheshate like lightly at all. But once we're done with this fight, he's next.
You also mentioned your training partner, Holly Holm, a few times. May I ask, of course, let's put it like this, you're a little bit biased since you two are training together, but what do you think about the judge's decision in her fight with Kathleen Vieira?
That was terrible. I mean, I think everybody, almost blind person, could have saw that fight and known that it was not the right decision. It just wasn't. I don't know why there's two judges that thought otherwise, to be honest. I don't understand it. So my heart kind of goes out to Holly. She's fine. She's okay. But man, I saw the effort that she put into the camp. I saw the effort. You want to get done? Yeah, we'll figure it out. You need to be quiet.
No worries, no worries. Take your time. No worries. That's fine.
Yeah, my heart, when you train as hard as she does, because I know how hard she trains, and to lose a fight that you pretty much won, that's awful. It's awful. So I don't know how her pays out, but that's kind of a robbery in my opinion if you have a show and you have a win. So I don't know. I truly think that they need to fix it. More judges, something. I don't know.
I lost you there for 1 second, the audio. Okay, no worries, it's back. The card on which you're competing is headlined by the light heavyweight championship affair between Glover Teixeira and Jiri Prochazka. I would like to hear your pick for the main event.
I'd probably go with Prochazka. I can't even say his name. Prochazka, but I don't necessarily know if Glover's, I don't want to say like his heart's not in it. I don't think he'd be fine if it's not, but he's at the tail end. The fact that he's already talking about retirement, that's just definitely not a good sign. So, and his opponent is a beast. He's a beast. There's no way around it. He's a monster. Anybody that faces that guy is in for some problems. So that'd probably be my prediction.
What about a prediction for your fight?
It's gonna be a TKO stoppage at some point. I don't know which round. He's tough. He's durable. He can take one on the chin. I don't know how many he can take on the chin, but we're gonna do it until he falls and he don't get up.
Have you already picked your walkout song?
I really, I have a select few that I normally do, but it's probably between God's Country by Blake Shelton or it's Wolves by Big Sean. So those probably be my two. I haven't decided yet. We'll see how I feel. I got to feel it. You know what I mean? But those are always fun to pick out.
Yeah, for sure, and it must help the cause, and get you ready for the battle. Steve, I finished my questions. Before I let you go, do you have any last messages?
I just always want to give Lord God. He's always He's always been there for me. He's blessed me with my family. He's blessed me with a little munchkin right here. He's driving me nuts. But all the sponsors, my coaches, my teammates, thank you for having me on. You guys are great. I appreciate you guys and your time.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Say hello to the little one. And
say bye.
Bye. Best of luck with their upcoming fight, and hopefully I will hear again from you in the future. He's welcome every time, no worries. So
thank you, man. I appreciate that. Thank you, man.
Have a nice one. Bye.
You have a good one, brother. Later.